before modern medicine, before electricity, before even the idea of science as we know it. Ancient civilizations already understood something crucial, that we are more than matter, that a subtle energy flows through all things, seen and unseen. The Indians called it prana, the Chinese called it qi, the Egyptians knew it as ka, and the Greeks called it ether, the divine breath of life. They didn't just believe in this energy, they worked with it. They learned to cultivate it, direct it, and protect it. And their entire spiritual traditions were built around this force, not as theory, but as a lived reality. In this video, we'll dive deep into how these ancient cultures understood and controlled the life force. You'll discover forgotten wisdom, powerful techniques, and how to bring this sacred knowledge back into your life today. Modern science teaches us that we are physical beings, machines made of flesh, blood, and neurons. But the ancients, they saw something else. They believed, no, they knew, that life is more than just chemistry. That beneath the body, beyond the organs, and deeper than the breath, there is an invisible force keeping everything alive. The ancient Indians called it prana, the subtle life force that rides the breath and fuels consciousness. For them, it flowed through nadis, energy channels that move throughout the body, like energetic rivers. And where these rivers converged, those became the chakras, energy centers that mirrored the cosmos. In ancient China, this same force was known as qi, or qi, not just a spiritual concept, but the very essence of health, vitality, and flow. The Chinese knew that when qi was blocked, the body would suffer. They mapped out meridians across the body and used acupuncture, herbs, movement, and breath to bring balance back. The Egyptians called it ka, the energy double of the physical body. They believed that when you died, your ka would live on, separate from your flesh. The ka was sacred. It needed food, rest, and rituals to stay strong. Entire temples were constructed to support the ka in the afterlife. And in Greece, it was ether, the divine substance that filled the space between things. Aristotle believed ether was the fifth element beyond earth, water, air, and fire. It was the spiritual glue of the universe, the breath of the gods. What's remarkable is this: these civilizations were oceans apart, separated by thousands of years, and yet they all described the same thing: a living, flowing, intelligent energy, an energy that gives rise to thought, to intuition, to healing, and perhaps even to the soul itself. Today we rarely talk about this energy, but it's still here, flowing through you, reacting to your thoughts, your breath, your emotions. It changes when you enter a room, when you talk to someone, when you remember something. You feel it when you're near someone you love, or someone who drains you. This is not imagination, it's energy, and it's real. The question is, how did the ancients learn to control it? How did they harness this subtle force? And what tools did they leave behind for us to rediscover? That's what we'll explore next. It's one thing to believe in energy, but the ancients went far beyond belief. They developed practices, systems, even sciences, to work with the life force, not metaphorically, literally. In India, the science of prana in ancient India, the rishis, seers of the Vedic tradition, understood that prana moved with the breath. But it wasn't just about inhaling and exhaling. They discovered that by controlling the breath, you could regulate the mind, body, and spirit. This gave birth to pranayama, the yogic science of breath control. With specific breathing patterns, they could activate different energy centers, the chakras, purify the nadis, and even enter altered states of consciousness. The goal wasn't just relaxation, it was union with the divine, to raise prana through the spine and awaken the sleeping serpent, Kundalini. Alongside breath, they used mudras, hand positions, that seal and redirect energy, and mantras, vibrational sounds like OM, that tune the body's frequency to cosmic resonance. In China, the flow of qi thousands of miles away, in ancient China, Taoist masters were doing something incredibly similar. They studied qi as the foundational force of life. Their focus was on harmony, balancing yin and yang to keep qi flowing. They practiced qigong and tai chi, slow, intentional movements, combined with breath and intention. These weren't just exercises. They were moving meditations that cultivated internal power. Chinese medicine emerged from this understanding, using acupuncture to open blocked meridians, herbs to tonify or disperse energy, and even breath-focused martial arts to store qi in the body's core, the dantian. According to them, illness wasn't just physical, it was energetic stagnation. So healing meant moving the energy again. In Egypt, the Ka and the temples, the ancient Egyptians went even deeper into the mystery of energy and the afterlife. They believed each person had a Ka, an energetic twin that lived alongside the physical body. While the body could die, the Ka would continue. That's why they preserved bodies so carefully, not just out of reverence, but because the Ka needed a home. They built entire temples as energy devices, carefully aligned with stars and geometric precision. These were not random. The architecture channeled spiritual energy. And in the inner sanctums of these temples, high priests practiced rituals of energy transformation, using incense, color, vibration, and sacred geometry to raise their Ka to higher dimensions. In Greece and the Hermetic world, the ether and the mind, the Greeks, especially the Hermetic philosophers, saw ether as the divine breath that permeates all things. To them, reality was energy in motion, just vibrating at different frequencies. They developed systems of mental and spiritual mastery through the Hermetic principles. Everything is vibration. As above, so below. The all is mind. They practiced meditative stillness to tune their inner frequency with the divine. The mystery schools of Alexandria taught that by mastering your thoughts, your breath, your inner fire, you could become a living channel of divine ether. These weren't just isolated practices. They were systems of energy mastery passed down through initiates, protected from the outer world, and now mostly forgotten. But the deeper truth? These techniques still work because the energy hasn't changed. Only we have forgotten how to feel it. When you think of tools, you might picture machines, wires, or technology. But to the ancients, their tools weren't mechanical. They were spiritual technologies. Everything they used had one purpose: to help the human being align with the invisible force that flows through all life. Sound and vibration. Sound was one of the most powerful tools, because sound is vibration, and vibration is energy in motion. The Vedic sages used mantras like Om, Soham, or Gayatri to tune the body's frequency. The Egyptians chanted sacred tones in chambers designed to amplify resonance, and even today, monks in Tibet use singing bowls, gongs, and deep throat chants to cleanse energy fields and induce altered states of consciousness. Why? Because every cell in your body responds to frequency, and when you tune it right, energy flows. Sacred geometry. In temples, manuscripts, and architecture, one thing appears again and again: geometry. Circles, triangles, the flower of life, the Sri Yantra, the Ankh, the Eye of Horus. These were not just art, they were maps of energy. Sacred geometry was used to create resonant spaces like pyramids and mandalas, activate focus in meditation, attract cosmic forces during ritual work. The belief was simple. Geometry holds a vibrational key. When your mind locks into it, energy opens. Crystals and natural elements. The ancients also worked with crystals, stones, and metals, not for beauty, but for energy. They believed each material held a specific vibration, clear quartz to amplify energy, lapis lazuli for insight, and connection obsidian for protection, and grounding gold as a divine conductor. Egyptian priests placed crystals over chakras during ceremonies. In India, malas, prayer beads made of rudraksha or sandalwood, were used to carry frequency. Even the Chinese five-element theory incorporates wood, metal, fire, earth, and water, all energetically alive. Ritual and intention. But the greatest tool of all wasn't physical, it was intention. Every practice, from lighting incense to drawing symbols to placing stones, only worked if the practitioner was fully present and aligned. The act of ritual, slow, symbolic, meaningful, was used to focus the mind, direct the energy, invite spiritual forces to assist, whether through Hermetic magic, Taoist ceremony, or Vedic fire rituals. Intention was the ignition key, because energy follows awareness, and when awareness is clear, energy obeys. These tools weren't magic tricks, they were sacred instruments of alignment, passed down through generations, and even now, they wait quietly for the seeker who's ready to remember. Imagine waking up in the morning, and instead of feeling drained, scattered, or foggy, you feel centered, alive, charged from the inside out. That's what starts to happen when you begin working with your energy intentionally. You're no longer just reacting to life, but you're shaping it. When you reclaim your energy, you stop leaking it into places it doesn't belong, into past regrets, old wounds, toxic people, or roles you no longer need to play. You begin to pull your power back. You stop absorbing energy that isn't yours and start radiating your own. Your thoughts get clearer. Your emotions become messages, not prisons. And your intuition, that quiet inner voice, gets louder and more accurate. Life doesn't stop being challenging, but your relationship with it transforms. You're no longer a leaf in the wind, you become the wind. And maybe, just maybe, you begin to remember that what the ancients knew has always lived inside you. You don't need to become a monk, or live in a temple, or master ancient languages to reclaim this wisdom. All you need is to become aware of your breath, aware of the spaces you enter, aware of how your body responds when something feels right or wrong, because your energy is always speaking to you. But in the noise of the modern world, we forgot how to listen. When you begin to listen again, truly listen, you'll notice subtle shifts, a feeling in your chest, a pull in your gut, a sense of lightness when you're aligned, and heaviness when you're not. That's not random. That's your life force giving you feedback. And this is how the ancients lived, in constant dialogue with their energy. They tuned their instruments daily, breath, body, heart, and soul. They didn't control energy by force, they guided it with presence. And this is available to you now. Not through belief, but through experience. The energy has always been there. The only question is, will you learn to feel it again? The ancients didn't separate energy from life. They saw it in every breath, every element, every sacred act. And maybe that's what we're being called to remember now, not just to protect our energy, but to live through it. So if this awakened something in you, don't stop here. There's more to remember, more to uncover, more to reclaim. Explore the next video on this channel, wherever you feel called to go. Whether it's about protection, transformation, or deeper truths, follow your energy because once you begin to feel it, the journey never really ends.